Most people will say, yeah, a clean bike is a fast bike. I strongly disagree with that. Why would you remove the fork, Charles? Cut this straight on the
With
bike.
the bike on it?
Yeah.
So I would give myself a rating of 7.5 out of 10 as a home bike mechanic.
Really goes against whatever Shimano and SRAM says in terms of chain length.
Welcome to the Quest for Speed, the ultimate cycling show where you follow my journey as a high-level amateur cyclist to become faster. As the preseason begins, every detail needs to be dialed in for an optimal racing season. With the help of several experts that work closely with the cycling world, I will share all my learnings with you guys through 5 episodes. Strap your helmets and get ready to join me on this thrilling knowledge ride. My name is Charles Ouimet and this is the Quest for Speed.
Alright guys, I am here with Andreas. Andreas, you're known around Montreal as probably one of the best mechanic around.
Yeah, I've started fixing bikes, repairing bikes many years ago, maybe 20 years ago. Over the years, I just kept on learning about, my trade, and that's it.
We often see when you used to work in the shop, you were sharing videos of bad mechanics. What's happening there?
The idea is that when you work on someone else's bike or someone else's property, you have to take in consideration that the thing you're working on is not yours. It's the customer's. I care about my customer. I care about what he's owning, whether it's a car or a bike or whatever. Do the best work I can and have the customer satisfied.
You do take a lot your time and you don't cut corners.
Yeah, I don't cut corners. Of course, over the years, I got, faster as anyone would. There's no reason for me to rush on any job. And the way I do things, it might have reached another level, over the years. I'm kind of satisfied with where I am now, but I'm always trying to push, and learn more stuff.
Today, Andreas, I want to talk about the bike industry and the bike builds because you're the expert and we have a brand new bike to talk about here.
Well, congratulations first with landing that, nice felt there. Yeah, I've seen ARs quite often in my life. It's a great bike you've just got there.
You said this bike's move forward by itself? That's what
it goes by itself. It's almost cheating.
It
just goes by itself. It's super, super fast.
Some people swear by a clean bike is a fast bike. We've heard that a million times.
Yep.
But tell us about what happened when you clean your bike too much.
Actually, you're gonna wear out everything faster. So I know the saying, most people will say, yeah, a clean bike is a fast bike. I strongly disagree with that for many reasons, but mainly you will wear out about everything on your bike, the frame, the components, the drivetrain. For example, if you wear out your chain and your cassette and stuff like that, it's you will replace these components anyway. When you start washing your bike too much that it attacks the frame and more expensive components, it's kind of bad. Clean your bike once in a while, but don't go and rush out and buy a pressure washer and stuff like that. It's not necessary. Just do a small, a sponge and hot water and dishwasher soap and stuff like that. Try to be as smooth as possible when washing stuff, and your bike will last a long time. I would say have a reliable bike is the most important one. There's no need having a super fast bike with super high-end components, exotic stuff on your bike if it's always failing. You're super fast until it breaks, and then
you're not.
Then you're on the side of the road waiting for I don't know what. And I think you've experienced that quite a few times in your life. The reason why a lot of the people come back to see or come back to the shop for the work we do is because of reliability. If the bike's built in a reliable way, it'll be fast. Number 2, just basic stuff, a good tire pressure, tire wear, drivetrain wear, make sure all those components are in a good state. You need to check your pad wear, if your caliper is well aligned in your disc, there's no reason why your disc should be rubbing in your brake pads. Free speed there, if your disc is not rubbing against your brake pads, that's a good thing.
What about bearing wise? There's this conversation we hear often, steel versus ceramic. Is ceramic always worth it for the extra speed, or the gain is a bit temporary? That's because you need maintenance more than the steel one. What's your thought on it as a bike mechanic?
We live in an area where like it's dirty, like it's not clean in Canada. So like having ceramics bearings it's really cool until it's not. You need to maintain those bearings, and they're quite finicky to maintain first. Like you can easily damage them either by removing them or wrongly putting back the seal or putting the wrong grease in them. They won't last as much as like a steel bearing in our conditions because of, you know, dirt, sand, water, snow, ice, salt, you know, like all those really tough things. They will wear out like the ceramic bearings much faster than steel bearings. So in the end, what's better? I mean, if you've got the money and you want to spend money on ceramic bearings, why not? But I've seen so many times like ceramic bearings like freshly installed, but improperly, like not rolling well. The installation is so important when you install like a ceramic bearing that you might just like scrap it just as you're installing it. Steel bearings are the way to go. Like get good quality steel bearings, like they will work fine. I would say clean your bike too much oil on the chain. It's a weird thing to say, but a lot of people are really excited when they get like a new part and they want to install it like right now on the bike, but then they realize they don't have the tools, or they're missing just one tool, like a small thing, and they can't do it, and they try to do it anyway, and then they break the thing they just bought. If you're missing a tool, just go to the bike shop.
Yeah. Guys, more than 68% of you who watch episode number 1 are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, so please fix that. Hit that button with the thumbs up at the same time.
So now let's just move on to the bike itself. You've did some comments about the engineering of felt and how like the way they do things when building the bike. Can you just run us through some slight details that maybe other manufacturers don't do that felt might take more the time to do on their engineering?
Yeah, my own personal favorite one, and I'm sure your bike fitter's favorite one also, is the way they integrated like the top cap. They allowed the rider to either use like a regular stem or the integrated stem, in which like you would hide all your brake hoses and the I2 cables if you have them. The fact that Felt thought of that and that they include like everything so you can use either type of stems is like a major thing for me at least. And in this case, it served you well. Like you achieved your position really fast. Although we'll be seeing your cables, like I don't think it's a biggie, you know.
No, I mean,
especially if you travel a lot, like you'll have to remove your stem and everything. So like the fact that this is all easily workable and accessible, it's a big plus. So huge props to Felt for designing their front end that way. Integration is really cool, but I don't think it's reached like its final iteration. I think there's a lot of progress to be made, and I think like bike manufacturers will eventually come with like something similar but different, maybe probably better. I mean, you've got like a very aero seat post that Felt developed like a special clamp. I mean, I love the Techstream finish.
I think yes, the
Techstream is a Swedish company,
because we don't see that often on other bikes.
I don't know of any other bike manufacturer that uses Techstream on their bikes.
But what is Techstream?
A way of laying up carbon. So it makes it like a lighter, more flexible material that you can shape in all sorts of shapes and forms, basically.
This whole Techstream technology actually needs its video on its own, so make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel to stay tuned to that.
All right, so now it's time to get rid of the chimney, because definitely don't want that on my race bike. So we're gonna take off the fork. I think that's the first step, right?
Yeah, but why would you remove the fork, Charles? We could cut this straight on the bike.
With the bike on it?
Yeah.
You've done that before?
Yeah. If you're not using the integrated stem right away, you should definitely leave a spacer on top of your stem. First of all, you make sure you're not cutting here, right?
Yes.
You're cutting on the right side of the fork, so this side. Slowly start your cut by using the tape as a guideline. And once you've made your first cut, I will supervise you cutting all along the tape first.
Okay.
So this will make like a natural groove around the fork, and it will also like serve as a guide.
So it's not about just going straight down.
No, you don't go straight
want-
because for sure you're gonna go crooked.
Got it.
Like even if you use a guide in a vise, like on the workbench, those guides have like enough room for the blade to go off like by maybe a millimeter or two. So they rarely make a straight cut.
All right, so I'm a few minutes in, and Andreas, I gotta say here, I'm not too confident with what I'm doing. I feel like I might be going crooked.
You're not going crooked. It's just like you're not going at all. Like you're too scared of making a mistake that you're actually not cutting, and you're just like spreading your cut across like a wider part of the steer that you should. So this all comes to like when you've got these very, very basic tools like hacksaws like this, like they will cut if you go forward, and there's no like cutting action if you're going backward.
Oh, okay.
So you've made like a first impression, like a first step into your steer cog. Now you just have to commit to it. You've made your move, and you just want to make like a real cut. Yeah, you just need to go for it. And once you start like making a deeper cut, well, then you're just gonna start
Rotating the fork.
Yeah, you're gonna start rotating the fork and cutting it along your line. Thing you need to commit to.
I'm definitely not doing it the confident way. I mean, guess I'm not a manual guy as much as I thought I was.
Right.
But I mean, I'm learning. I would be confident right now to do it on a bike that I don't really care about. So it's an improvement from not doing it.
Yeah.
But doing it on this brand new race bike, at this point, I've learned the technique. And else I will let you decide.
Okay.
For the rest.
Okay. Good.
Thanks. So I would give myself a rating of 7.5 out of 10 as a home bike mechanic. But compared to a pro bike mechanic, I'm like a 2 out of 10. So I'm like, I could have done it, but badly. And that's not what really I want for my race bike for this year. Andreas, do we have a straight cut?
Somehow we have a straight cut.
Top cap.
We then spent some time fine-tuning the bike. Andreas shared a lot of knowledge with me with all the tiny little adjustments. This bike will be so fast.
If it was me building this bike from scratch, knowing you're a racer, I would have lengthened the chain for sure to allow you to cross chain like under a heavy load. And this goes like it really goes against whatever Shimano and SRAM says in terms of chain length. What I usually do, like especially on Di2 systems, is that the system will not allow you to cross chain on the small chain ring and like the smallest cog, like the maximum length chain I can like in this specific gear combination.
So here we can maybe have one or two links more.
Yeah, maybe like a link more. Obviously, like if you go in this case on the 11th, your chain would be hanging.
But the system don't allow it.
That exactly. Like no one rides like that ever. But the point is that you should be able to cross chain like full effort. Give all your power like in like a full cross chain. You cross chain all the time.
Yeah, when you race, you sometimes like
Exactly.
there's no moment to go on the small ring. Sometimes like it's just a kicker where you can be out of the saddle on the big ring on the 28 at the back and still like push it and make it through the top.
Exactly.
Of the climb.
Like when you're racing, like you don't have time to consider those kind of things, and you want to make sure that you're not gonna like tear off your rear derailleur, broke your chain, then like if you break your chain when you're in that specific gearing combination, your rear derailleur often goes into your spokes, and then everything breaks, and you'd want to prevent that. So the way I do it is by installing a chain that's a bit too long. So that this is when we talk about free speed, this is actually free speed, just because there's less tension on the chain when your derailleur is less extended, and I guess it takes less watts to push that gearing combination, and it's never gonna break.
Andreas then teach me how to properly use a torque wrench, something I've never learned before. In this case here of the crank, he teach me that it's a good practice to go at 7 Newton per meters and then go all the way to 14. Don't go straight to 14 on both sides. And the same principle apply to the stem.
Andreas, thank you so much for all your knowledge and all the tiny little things that you shared with us today. I'm sure a lot of people will have learned something. Where can they go to find more about you and what you do?
They can go on YouTube and find my YouTube channel, which is my name, Andreas Ouimet. A bit of bike mechanics, some cycling, adventure, racing, stuff like that.
Well,
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
It's been a pleasure. See you on the bike, Andreas.
Yeah, sure. See you this summer.
So I think for you, maybe that's in the polarized training spectrum is to do a lot of, as we say, 80% easier.
I wouldn't do a polarized approach. It doesn't make sense.
Yup, these two experts just gave me two opposite recommendations on what to do. This will be interesting.
The device we use to measure lactate, as you see, it looks pretty much like the one for glucose. Allez, 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 allez.
So I would actually go fully with your strengths, and I would risk it all. The better you get at your technique on bike, the better you're able to express your fitness.